Circle round for freedom, circle round for peace, for all of us imprisoned, circle for release, circle for the planet, circle for each soul, for the children of our children, keep the circle whole. Circle round for freedom, circle round for peace, for all of us imprisoned, circle for release, circle for the planet, circle for each soul, for the children of our children, keep the circle whole. Circle round for freedom, circle round for peace, for all of us imprisoned, circle for release, circle for the planet, circle for each soul, for the children of our children,
Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Congregation at Montclair. My name is Marcus Greyhawk. I am the Director of Music Ministries and my pronouns are he, him, and his. It is good to have you with us for worship today. If you are watching this live on Facebook, we invite you to share your name in the comments and let us know you are here. These days, many of us are feeling a righteous anger at the way that non-white and particularly black people in this country have been treated for far too long, discriminated against, oppressed, and killed. The first hymn we're going to sing speaks to using this anger as a force for good, for effecting necessary and long overdue change. It is called A Cleansing Rage, and it was written by the Unitarian Universalist composer Jason Shelton. The hymns today are led by our members Stearns Matthews and Jessica Burr.
A cleansing rage uproots all hesitation. A cleansing rage burns deep in my soul. May this rage make us one, make us whole. Sacred rage calls out falsehood and greed. A sacred rage fuels the fires of justice. A sacred rage burns deep in my soul. May this rage make us one, make us whole. A tearful rage lets its truth be known. A tearful rage believes what is spoken. A tearful rage burns deep in my soul. May these tears make us one, make us whole. A loving rage strengthens bonds of resilience. A loving rage burns deep in my soul. May this love make us one, make us whole. May this love make us one, make us whole. May this love make us one, make us whole.
Love will guide us, peace has tried us,
Hope inside us will lead the way on the road from greed to giving. Love will guide us through the hard night. If you cannot sing like angels, if you cannot speak before thousands, you can give from deep within you. You can change the world with your love. You are like no other being. What you can give, no other can give. To the future of our precious children, to the future of the world where we live. Hear the song of peace within you. Heed the song of peace in your heart. Each new beginning shall lead to the harvest. Love will guide us on our way. Love will guide us on our way. Love will guide us on our way.
Whoever you are, wherever you come from, whatever age, identity, history, ability, gender, sexual orientation, or political affiliation, you are welcome to bring your full self here. Grounded in faith, we come together to nurture the soul, inspire hope, and bring into being a more just and loving world. I'm Reverend Anya Sandler-Michael. My pronouns are she, her, and hers.
And I am Reverend Scott Sandler-Michael. My pronouns he, him, his.
If you are joining us at 9:30, please continue with us for our virtual Connection Cafe beginning at 10:30 a.m. Check your email and realm announcements for the Zoom link. And today's Connection Cafe will be hosted by our Board of Trustees. Bring your questions and perhaps your willingness to celebrate all of the hard work they have been doing on our behalf. It's time now to light our chalice, a beacon to guide us through these times. Perhaps you have a chalice or candle at home, anything that you can illumine. Let's light our collective chalices as we share our chalice lighting affirmation.
Let us open our eyes to see what is beautiful. Let us open our minds to learn what is true. Let us open our hearts to love one another.
Good morning. I'm Chris Corbett. I'm a member of the Board of Trustees, and I'm also your treasurer. My pronouns are he, him, and his, and I'm here for your board moment. Last Sunday, for our first time in our history, we held our annual meeting virtually, and I think all that was involved in the process thought it went very well. We had excellent attendance. We worked out ways of having real give and take from the congregation. And in addition, your interest in the program is shown because between the beginning of the meeting and the end of it, over 2 hours later, almost no one broke off the feed. Very few people left the meeting. So thank you for all involved. During the meeting, we could not announce to you the results of the votes on resolutions. And in addition to that, we could not announce to you the results of election of officers and board members. The reason for that is we kept the ballots open until Tuesday. But now that time has passed, all the ballots are counted, and I'm here to announce the results. All resolutions that were put before the congregation were passed. We adopted a strategic plan. We adopted the proposed budget. Thank you very much. And we adopted a bylaw change that created a president-elect position and a past president position, in addition to our president. In addition to that, we elected officers. The officers for next year are Peter Arian, president, Michael Hetrick, president-elect, Sue Raffer, past president, Shannon Gattens, secretary, and myself, Chris Corbett, as treasurer. In addition to that, we elected several members to open positions on the board. Joining the board will be Nick Lewis, Francesca Elms, David Jones, and Will Hilton. I think it is a tremendous tribute to this congregation that in the midst of a pandemic, we can have such an effective annual meeting. It just shows the strength of this organization and this congregation in tough times. Thank you.
How could anyone ever tell you you were anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you you were less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice that your loving is a miracle? How deeply you're connected to my soul. How could anyone ever tell you you were anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you you were less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice that your loving is a miracle? How deeply you're connected to my soul.
How could anyone ever tell you you were anything less than whole? We enter into this space of depth as we each are called, finding a soft meditation, a deep reflection, an ardent prayer, each as we are called, but all together. And we enter into this space by hearing the lamentations, the requests, and the remembrances of our community. Let us hear one another to heal one another. Wendy McNeil lights a candle for Herbie, her brother, her favorite relative. He has been in the hospital with COVID-19. Please hold Herbie and Wendy in your prayers. Wayne Foti lights a candle for Larry Kramer, the playwright, author, ACT founder, and AIDS activist who died on May 27. Wayne says, I've been friends with Larry since the early 80s. Hold Larry's family in your thoughts and prayers. We light this candle for our congregation's community minister, Reverend Jackie Leahy, who serves as a hospice chaplain. She has continued to serve with grace as the demands on her time and energy have grown exponentially. We light this candle for the many members of our congregation that serve in the field of healthcare, nurses, doctors, counselors, psychologists, and many, many more who carry such a heavy burden. May they be well. Deb Ellis and Hal Strelnick light a candle of joy for Rain Dwavy, who is healed from COVID after 5 weeks of quarantine with them, and now can fully join their family. And we light this last candle for the joys and sorrows not yet spoken aloud. In the silence that follows, you are encouraged to speak the names of those you are holding, those you hold in your prayers or meditations. May we hold this silence as this silence holds us. May our listening bring forth acts of love.
We lift up our eyes to the hills. From where will our help come? God of our understanding, hear our prayers. Where do we find help in these sorrowful times? We are seeking something to hold us, someone to hold us. We feel so weary, tired of the way that this virus is infecting our loved ones, sickening some and stealing others. Tired of the murderous rage of racism that's being used as a tool of execution against Black and brown bodies. We are so weary tired of worrying about how we'll survive day after day in this pandemic, tired of worrying if we are preparing our children for this world that they have inherited. We are so weary. Tired of feeling isolated in our homes, tired of not being able to greet each other with hugs and handshakes. We are so weary. From where will our help come? We lift up our weary eyes. Spirit of life, we beseech you, help us to dig deeper into our faith, not the faith of fairy tales and limited understanding, not the faith that these things will change somehow without us being able to do the work of change. Help us to dig deeper into our faith in humanity. We know that we have all that we need to fundamentally change racism. If we do the work of dismantling the system of white supremacy in our world, in our community, in our churches, congregations, and fellowships, in our homes and in ourselves, the spread of this pandemic, if we continue to hold the line against a government that places profit above lives, survival, if we remind ourselves that if we have, we need to give, and if we need, we can trust our community in asking. We know we are all a part of the independent web, each of us needing and each of us giving. That interdependence keeps us connected and makes us stronger. The preparation of our children, if we remember that, just like each of us, they strive to do justice, to love fully, to seek truth. Remind us that to truly prepare them for this world, we must be forthright in our telling of the events that have shaped it, past and present. The isolation of community. If we remember that we have each other, we can depend on the web to hold us. Remind us that our bodies have stored the sensation of touches that have brought us joy and comfort. Remind us to wrap ourselves in this touch when we're missing each other. For we are right here. We are right here. We are right here. We're the keepers of each other. We are the shade and we are our healing light. We are the keepers of each other. We are our aid and we are our salvation. We are the keepers of each other. We are the weavers and we are the web. May we remember. May we act. May it be so. Amen. Ashe. Blessed, blessed be.
The Lord is my shepherd, I have all I need. She makes me lie down in green meadows, beside the still waters she will lead. She restores my soul, she rights my wrongs. She leads me in the path of good things. She fills my heart with songs. Even though I walk through a dark and dreary land, there is nothing that can shake me. She has said she won't forsake me. I'm in her hand. She sets a table before me in the presence of my foes. She anoints my head with oil, and my cup overflows. the beginning, is now, and ever shall be, world without end. Amen.
Good morning. I'm Deb Ellis. My pronouns are she, her, and hers. The reading today is a poem by Maya Angelou called Continue. My wish for you is that you continue. Continue to be who and how you are, to astonish a mean world with your acts of kindness. Continue to allow humor to lighten the burden of your tender heart. Continue in a society dark with cruelty to let the people hear the grandeur of God in the peals of your laughter. Continue to let your eloquence elevate the people to heights they had only imagined. Continue to remind the people that each is as good as the other, and that no one is beneath nor above you. Continue to remember your own young years and look with favor upon the lost and the least and the lonely. Continue to put the mantle of your protection around the bodies of the young and defenseless. Continue to take the hand of the despised and diseased and walk proudly with them in the high street. Some might see you and be encouraged to do likewise. Continue to plant a public kiss of concern on the cheek of the sick and the aged and infirm, and count that as a natural action to be expected. Continue to let gratitude be the pillow upon which you kneel to say your nightly prayer, and let faith be the bridge you build to overcome evil and welcome good. Continue to ignore no vision which comes to enlarge your range and increase your spirit. Continue to dare to love deeply and risk everything for the good thing. Continue to float happily in the sea of infinite substance which set aside riches for you before you had a name. Continue, and by doing so, you and your work will be able to continue eternally. May it be so.
I love you and I have faith in you. Faith. I've been asked many times, especially by Unitarian Universalists, what I mean when I say faith. We might struggle to see this word at work in our journey. We might imagine it, the word faith, as an anachronism, speaking to a vestige of illogic that grounds other religion, not our own, as if faith were faith in metaphysical beings and supernatural forces and Kodachrome realms, such as heaven and hell, as if faith were a force we employed to fool ourselves into naive comforts, especially the comfort that we have the only true and right answer, that we alone will ascend. And something very much like this, something misnamed at times as faith, does exist. Marx called it out when he named religion the opiate of the masses. Yes, something like this does exist, and we feel it. We feel it when someone responds to our grieving by saying, all of this, even this loss, is in God's plan. Or, your beloved is better off now. Giving us a simple answer that seems to ignore the sanctity of life and the depth of our loss. But none of this is faith. To say it more directly, I call this blasphemy because the holy I understand does not deal in numbing comforts. The holy I understand doesn't resolve complex problems with simple solutions. And the faith I understand doesn't take away our fear. It just helps us do what is necessary anyway. It helps us continue. Faith is not faith in something that we will get. If only we believe in the right God or attend the right church service. Faith is active. It is the way we respond to the consistent call to manifest what has never been but is always latent and possible. Faith is the call to continue, even now, to continue. Let me say it this way. We Unitarian Universalists have faith in the inherent worth and dignity of all people. This is our first principle. We are called to affirm and promote this principle and affirm and promote our actions of faith. And let me say it this way. The police officer who knelt on George Floyd's neck, a man he knew until this man was asphyxiated, I see no inherent worth and dignity in his actions. And the police officers who looked on and did nothing, I see no inherent worth and dignity in their actions. And the woman in Central Park who used her white privilege to threaten Black life, I see no inherent worth and dignity in her actions. But I am impossibly and decidedly called as a Unitarian Universalist to rise in this moment, and with my faith compelling me to continue, to unveil, to birth, to uncover that inherent worth and dignity that is at times invisible, but always possible in this aching and beautiful world. And I can see that latent inherent worth and dignity break free even in these times when aching souls take to the streets in protest, when officers join them and attorneys general listen. Only faith, I think honestly, it is only faith that provides us the ground to continue when we are up against evil. Hope is nice, and hope works in the realm of good and bad. If something is bad, I can hope that good may come and feel some resilience. I hope for sun after rain. I hope the tomato plant will blossom and bear fruit. It would be bad if it didn't. I really want tomatoes. Hope holds me when there is ground below me. Faith is necessary when there is none. I know. I've gone too far. I've committed theological conformity. I've shimmied into evangelical territory. I've now used two words that we might choose to leave outside the gate of our UU garden, faith and evil. And before I even said blasphemy, and spoiler alert, in the future, I'm going to say deliverance. But what else is it that we feel but the chill of evil? When we watch the videos of racist violence that have been circulating, when we see laid before us the terror-laden and ugly acts of white supremacy, we feel perhaps like everything we have ever held onto has been obscured or stolen. That the hell we have seen so many times before has now won eternal favor. It was our Universalist forefather, Hosea Ballou, who said that hell is not somewhere we go after we die. It is made right here on earth. And what we feel when we see that hell of human endeavor, mistaken human endeavor, is the bare chill of evil. Now, it's hard to prove that something is evil, but perhaps we know it when we feel it. It's like the words on the old maps that said, there be monsters. Monsters made of systems, monsters made of power, but monsters. I wish, dear ones, that we were not here, that I could weave pretty words of distraction, but evil doesn't cow to games. Only faith dispels its antagonism, and I firmly believe that any lesser, weaker word would be a fatuous, dangerous compromise and an evasion of the truth of human nature and the way of systemic injustice and what we are seeing right now. And again, I say this not because I am beset by desperation. I say this because I love you and I have faith in you. I have faith that we will continue. My references in the following come from a book called Evil, one of my favorites, really. This book is by Ralph Morrow, and Morrow taught me that evil is like a fungus that can grow over the face of life and distort both reason and sunshine. Evil is kin to an existential abyss. It answers the question, does life have meaning? With a groan. And evil like this fungus, moves along channels of least resistance. And what launders evil? What provides these channels? Permissibility. Another word for this permissibility that Elie Wiesel used is indifference. Evil relishes silence. And what does evil look like? Evil needs power, but evil portrays itself almost without exception as injured innocence fighting back. It is one of the great lessons that evil flourishes in the subjective self-righteousness and grievance of a highly developed victim culture, a victim culture that specifically remembers a golden age, one that has been stolen from it. Make America Great Again is just this kind of culture, and it is breeding victims that think they must exercise their power to save what never was. A culture that says, go back instead of continue. Caligula reminded his grandmother Antonia, remember that I can do anything I want to anybody, and our president is saying the same to us, and with it, calling his army of victims to remind our America that they can do the same. We rise against evil when we rise today, and as long as faith remains healthy, it is a match for evil. My wish for you is that you continue. And to continue right now is an act of faith, because hope is too weak and evil has obscured every lesser promise of deliverance. From our reading, continue to let the people hear the grandeur of God in the pearls of your laughter. Continue to put the mantle of your protection around the bodies of the young and defenseless. Continue to dare to love deeply and risk everything, and continue now, especially to continue, is an act of faith, because there is no certainty. Evil is a violation of trust that steals everything we thought was sturdy. So to continue is to put our faith not in what has been or what is, but only in what is latent and possible. And faith says implicitly, evil, you have no power over me. Sue Raufer, our board president, sent me the poem Continue, and she said when she did that she had made 100 copies and placed them on random windshields. That, Sue, is an act of faith. May we all call from within our hearts a faith in latent possibility, a faith in our own and our neighbor's dignity, a faith in the pressure of time and people power to mold our world in the shape of equity. May we all have faith that moves our bodies to continue, faith that answers indifference with love, faith that answers hate with vigilance, and faith that answers the deafening silence with a deep belly scream as we continue. Evil, you have no power over me. Amen. Will you reflect with me? How are you called to continue? Our last hymn today is When the Spirit Says Do.
gotta do when the Spirit says do. You gotta do when the Spirit says do. When the Spirit says do, you gotta do, oh Lord, you gotta do when the Spirit says do. Spirit says do, 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 Spirit says do. You gotta sing when the Spirit says sing. You gotta sing when the Spirit says sing. When the Spirit says sing, you gotta sing, oh Lord, you gotta sing when the Spirit says sing. Spirit says sing, 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 Spirit says sing. You gotta pray when the Spirit says pray. You gotta pray when the Spirit says pray. When the Spirit says pray, you gotta pray, oh Lord, you gotta pray when the Spirit says pray. Spirit says pray, 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 Spirit says pray. You gotta shout when the Spirit says shout. You gotta shout when the Spirit says shout. When the Spirit says shout, you gotta shout, oh Lord, you gotta shout when the Spirit says shout. Spirit says shout, 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 Spirit says shout.
As Unitarian Universalists, one thing that we value is the interdependent web of existence of which we are a part. The health of this web relies on us giving of our time, our talents, and our resources. When you give monetarily to the U, 80% of your gifts will care for the Unitarian Universalist congregation at Montclair, and 20% will support our justice recipient. In light of the pandemic, the Sharing Our Riches team has selected Newark Emergency Services for Families, a nonprofit organization which has served the greater Essex County community for over 40 years, providing quality services to individuals and families who need assistance with emergency food, clothing, shelter, utilities, and rent during times of crisis. They focus on serving the homeless, the working poor, seniors, duly diagnosed people, incarcerated people, and people affected by fire, eviction, or domestic violence. You can text to give, mail us a check, or go to our homepage and click on the donate button. This is a time of great need. All of your gifts are worthy, and they are all received with love.
To continue, it may be to act, it may be to sing full-throated, it may be to breathe, because that too is a protest to continue, to remember. Please say this with me. We are the keepers of each other. We are our shade and we are our healing light. We are the keepers of each other. We are our aid and we are our salvation. We are the keepers of each other. We are the weavers and we are the web.
Our worship has ended. Let our service begin. Go in peace. Go in joy. Go in love.
Until we meet again.
Virtually or otherwise,
You
are in our hearts.
for freedom, circle round for peace, for all of us imprisoned, circle for release, circle for the planet, circle for each soul, for the children of our children. Keep the circle whole, circle round for freedom.